Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Mixed Mowers and Mower Man. Hope you're all doing well. In today's video we're going to look at a nice little Husqvarna lawnmower, mulching mower that I picked up off of a fella just over the next town away. He gave me two mowers, absolutely free. He was selling them on Facebook Marketplace. He took no buyers on it and he messaged me to say if you want them come and get them before I go to a scrap. I picked up one which is a Wolf, which I think needs carburetor work. And the other is a Husqvarna mulching mower. Now, it should come with a bag, all that sort of fancy stuff as well, but it hasn't. And I looked on the sites already, and they want too much money for the bag itself. So unless anyone's got one of these bags for it, wants to do a bit of a deal with me, they're looking about £80 for a bag, and that doesn't include all the tubing to go with it. So I'm not going to do that. I'll probably just sell it as it is, as a mulching mower. I might buy the side discharge chute as a bit of an added bonus, but that's that. So it's missing the front fairing, which I've got on order already, and the machine runs. I've had it running, but it doesn't like to start, and there's something wrong with the auto choke on the Honda engine. So that we're going to investigate. And what I have done, preempted, because it is in a bit of a bad state, the carburetor and what have you. I just thought I'd take a little tiny punt on this, which is off of Amazon, $19.99. You get a free carburetor. Well, not free, it costs $9.99. You get a carby, you get a spark plug, you get fuel hoses, gaskets, filters, heat shield, and all that sort of stuff, spark plug as well, for 19 quid. Now, what I have realised is on this engine is it doesn't actually choke. When you put the choke forward, the choke flap doesn't actually close at all. And looking at the carburetor a bit closely, just whilst I was mucking about with it, it's missing the little tiny niblet that goes up in the air, which activates the choke. So I have just put a little tiny screw in there to try and activate it, and it activates it to a certain degree, but not enough to fully choke the machine. So that's where it is. So let me get the machine up on the bench. I shan't bother showing what it looks like outside. At the moment, it does run, as I say, but it doesn't like to start. It starts with easy spray and with easy start and what have you. So we'll get up on the bench, a quick little look, and we'll go from there. If this is the first time you're watching Mixed Mowers and Mower Man, hit your subscribe button, whack the old bell, set your notifications to all. That way you'll be told when I've done a video or two on my Saturday night weekly live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM UK time. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and check out this nice little Husqvarna lawnmower, which does like to run, but don't like to start. Right, here's a Husqvarna. It's a Husqvarna R152SVH. Missing the front panelling bit here, but I've got that coming. That's 20 odd quid. But what I want to show you is here. If you look just inside here, you'll find the little tiny choke flap. See it just sitting in there? Well, when you activate the choke, you'll see it start to go over. You see that? It starts to go, but it's not actually choking all the way. And it's got a bit more to go yet. I think that's the problem. As I say, I have had the machine running, and the bloke who gave it to me free of charge said he couldn't get it to even run. I put a new pull cord on it. I've done that as well. I think half the problem was the pull cord was way too short. You couldn't even pull it. So I put a new pull cord on there. That sorted that out. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put I look at this carby. I'll show you what I did to it, just to as a sort of a workaround. But it's actually missing the stem that activates the choke, and I think it's missing a few gaskets too. That's why I decided to go ahead and actually purchase a new carb for it. Not something I'd normally do, but hey ho, right, carburetor's just dropped down, so we can now remove all that lot. That's that. Got a bit of a gasket here that looks a bit knackered, and that's what I did here. See, just put a little tiny screw in there because it's actually missing the bit you need. So that carburetor's in place there. Let me just deactivate. So that'd be choked. So that'd be around that side there. That'd be something like that. But you can see that that is not actually going all the way over. You see. It wants to be a bit more. I might be just able to bend it to do it, but it's not something I really want to do. But I think it's actually the wrong carburetor for it. So now, if I activate the dead man cable, you see it releases the choke. like so, and takes it off a choke, okay, which is there. But when you put it back onto choke, it's not actually pushing it all the way over. So I could just want that just bending over, just so it goes a bit more. But me personally, I think this is actually the wrong carb for it, because it hasn't got a hole there, and that's snapped there. So I think it's actually the wrong carb is what I'm thinking. So first thing I want to do is I want to turn the fuel off on this machine. And I want to take that fuel hose off, and I want to lift up the carburetor, swing it round, and then the same with the little tiny spring. So we'll get rid of a carb, because that ain't doing a great deal. Second thing I notice is this spring has got a nasty little kick in it. Look at that. I think someone's done that on purpose, because looking at other machines, I don't see that to be a thing. It sits well with that governor. I don't think that's right. I think that should just be straight, I think. So let me get the actual carby I've got for it. We'll get some gaskets as well and a bit of a heat shield. We've got none of that stuff on it. Ooh. So I've got a heat shield, which is good. It hasn't got one. What have we got on here? A little tiny bit of a gasket there or something going on there. Not sure what that is. And a bit of cellophane on there too, by the looks of it. Weird. So all I'm going to do, literally, to begin with, is I want to just get my studs, and I want to just literally just loosely fit this into place. That's all I want to do to begin with. Tip that round. That's it. Right. I want to fit the studs in like that. I fit that stud into there like that. Just so we can sort of just see where the carb sits in relation seems to be sitting a lot lower than what it should be compared to the other one. So I might have to check that out in a minute. At the very least, what I may have to do is just actually move this, take this off. That looks like it's sitting too high up. So let me pull this one out, see what the difference is. Yeah, that looks different. That looks different to me. But we might be able to get around it. So we're not finished yet. So for 20 quid, I've got a few spares anyway. That's a probably buy Chinese spare carbs. That way around, Mick. Pound for pound, it's right. Right, it looks right. Pound for pound, it looks the same for what I want. So why is that? Why is that sitting lower? That's my question. That's got to sit there. I might get it. It might have just been me. It might have been me. We'll see. So let me just put that in. Back to where it was. Oh, it's not far out, but it ain't right. A bit of bending might be required here. I don't think it's quite going to get that. Look, see, it just misses it, doesn't it? Look, just misses that. Just a bit, so that might just want bending down slightly, just so it catches it. It's not quite catching that. See that? So I'm going to bend that down a touch, just so I can get that just to catch that that flap, because that's where it should go, like so. Okay, so I'm going to bend that down. That's the first thing to do. So let me go and do that. Let me literally just bend that tab down, and I think I need to also give it a bit of a bend over as well. That wants to come down to about there, and then I think it wants to have a bit of a bend on it. Let me try that. I think old matey bum, he might have had a little go at this. Himself, like. Right, so that's now already, that looks better. Than what it was. But as you can see, with that on choke, it's still got a long way to go, a long way to travel. So that's come off choke now, all the way. But when we activate the choke, it's still not going as far over as it should do. That should be bent over that way a bit more positive. Now I'm not sure if that's actually broken up here, just double checking on the cam. No, it's not broken there. So there is actually a bit of adjustment just here. Let me show you where the adjustment is. So you can adjust it slightly. It's not adjustment, but there is something here. There's a little tiny tab just in there. See that little tiny tab just there? If you bend that out, as that comes over, that'll give you a bit more adjustment. So I'm just going to bend that little tiny tab over a touch back towards me. Just so I can get a bit more adjustment on it. So it just pushes over. I think someone might have bent that. That's what I think. I think that's the problem. So let me get that done, and I'll be back to you in 2 ticks. Okay, a little bit of bending gone on. Put a little tiny bending into this one here as well. I bent up the top, and now if you watch this this choke flap, I'll bring it a bit closer in a minute. I can now bend this round. It chokes. And it's now pretty much fully choking. That can't choke anymore, really. That's pretty much there. Let me just show you so you can see that. So I can take it off a choke manually. Okay. Let me get you a bit closer, just so I don't want you guys to see it. Because sometimes you can just fine tune these little tiny bits. So I put a little tiny bend in there. See that little tiny bend? Just a little tiny sneaky one. And also a bit up the top here where it sits on this cam as well. So now, with a carburetor pushed tight, which is going to be anyway, we can now fully choke this, and over it goes. Okay, and that you've got that much play, which is absolutely nothing. So that should be enough. I could possibly get another little bend in there just to help it, but I think we're pretty much there. That's not going to make a lot of difference. So I think that'll do it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this carburetor all back together. And we'll take it outside. So all I'm going to do is I'll take the carburetor back off again, and I'm going to fit the gaskets to it, the heat shield to it, all that sort of good stuff. And I'll meet you outside, and then we'll go for another little fire up, see if it won't actually start off its own back. I'm not sure. I've had it running, and it does actually rev its head off, and I've got a sneaky feeling it might have something to do with that little tiny governor spring. And it's got a few wicked bends in that. Quite a few wicked bends indeed. And I don't think that's right. It doesn't look right to me. That should be straight, I think. I think someone's had a bit of a fiddle with that. So let me get the carburetor fitted, and I'll be back to you in 2 ticks. Right, so there she is. I've got to get a new air filter box for it yet. I haven't got an air filter for it. Air filter cover for it yet. I'll have them in the spare somewhere. So it wouldn't start off its own back. But now I'm hoping it will do. So onto choke. I want to start off its own back. That's the most important thing. If it doesn't do that, then it's no good for nothing. So pull my dead man in. Okay, good. It's a little bit fast. A little bit quick, but I can always set the governor for that. Let's try and malt some of these leaves up, see what happens. Good, so it all starts off its own back. Will it now start without any choke, is the next question. Yeah, but it's a bit fast. And I think that's got to do with that little tiny governor spring, but apart from that, she all runs, bit of fine tuning, be good to go. Okay, so that's the Husqvarna now running. It is a bit quick, and also that governor arm sticks. It sticks wide. If you hold it back, it sticks wide open. It won't return. I don't think it's actually a governor issue internally. So what I might do tomorrow is I might reset the governor, and also I'm going to have a look around at other videos. I'm sure that Eliminate Performance did a video on a auto choke a while ago, and someone tells me his spring that he had was completely flat, had no massive kink in it. Maybe someone has put a kink in it, try and speed it up. Maybe they've done that. That would answer a lot. But I'll show a little play of that tomorrow, and you'll see it in a future video of me when I've got it sussed. But I think it'll either be just a governor reset or the governor spring. So I'm going to start with a governor spring first, just straighten that out, just so the throttle has more throw on it and what have you, and then go from there. But a lawnmower I got for nothing. The bloke couldn't start it. With a new pull cord and with a cheap Chinese Wuhan carburetor. There goes an air filter, oil filter, fuel filter. With a cheap £19.99p carburetor. Comes with a few spark plugs, bits and pieces and what have you, which I probably shan't use. That's probably a Torx plug, I expect. It's a F7TC, yeah, Torx plug. And we all know that Torx plugs are only good for one thing, all right, people? They're only good for smashing windows. Simple as that. And that's where that'll stay. So we'll keep that in the bin, and yeah, done. Super happy. You know, for nothing, it's a good machine. It mulches the leaves up, does what it should do, and once I get the old front cover for it and get the engine running sweet, it should fetch a pretty penny indeed. So that's super cool. If it's the first time you're watching Mixed Mowers and Mower Man, hit the subscribe button and whack the old bell, set your notifications to all. That way you'll be told when I've done a video or two on my Saturday night weekly live stream, which starts at 6:30 p.m. UK time. I look forward to seeing the next episode of Mixed Mowers very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, much more importantly, take care easy.